Yeah, is it audible? So let's move on. So I think in the last class we winded the RH criterion, right? So if anybody have doubt, you can ask, or else we'll move on with the next part of this model number 4, root locus. Am I audible? Everyone, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall we move on to next topic, root locus? Yeah. So go with the next topic of model number 4, that is called as root locus. Okay. So just make a note what is exactly root locus. So then we'll go with the procedure to solve this root locus, and we'll try to solve a problem on this. So before that, any doubts anyone with the previous class you can ask? Shall I proceed with root locus? Everyone, is it okay? Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So down the heading as root locus. So what exactly this root locus, will just make a note, just one point you can add. See, root locus is a graphical representation or a graphical method, okay, which is required for examining. I'll repeat, root locus is a graphical method for examining how the roots of system. So I hope you already got the roots right. So roots of system change with variation. Roots of system change with variation of certain system parameter. Certain system parameter. So commonly again within a feedback system. So I'll repeat. See, this topic is under stability analysis. Okay. So in control system, there is a topic called stability analysis, what you learned the first part with respect to your RH criterion. Correct? So same way, we have one more part in this called as root locus. The difference is simple. This is going to be a graphical representation. So how we did your root locus concept, RH criterion concept, it was based on tabular column, right? So including that stability concept, we have to do some graphical representation. That graphical representation, when is required? Whenever you are going to examine how the roots of a system change with respect to the variation of certain system parameter like gain, then we required this root locus. Am I clear? Everyone, yes, am I clear? Yes, shall we proceed? Is it okay till here? Yes, sir. Okay. So just a statement wise, just make a note because you should know why this root locus is required. Okay. So now we'll go with the procedure or steps to plot a root locus. See, it's a plot. Actually, you have to do. So since it's the first class, so I can show you the representation or plotting of the graph on the board, but I want you to plot this on a graph sheet. Okay, a normal graph sheet you can take. So if you have few graph sheets with you, so that it gets practiced, because in the exam, in the booklet itself, graph sheet will be there. I hope you have seen, right, at the beginning, there'll be similar graph, there'll be normal graph. Yes or no, yeah? Yes, sir. So in that, you need to mark the question number and you can plot. And in the answer booklet, wherever you're attempting that question, for example, this comes in model number 4, right? Maybe 4, in that you can expect 8th and 9th question, right? So if the 9th question is root locus or 8th question is root locus, you just mark it and tell answer is available in the graph sheet. You can mention the page number. That's all. So here in the board, I'll just show you how to plot it. So along with me, whenever you come to next class, you try to plot it on a graph sheet, and protractor, scale, everything is required. So make sure you have the things. I think someone has unmuted and muted yourself. Is it okay? Shall I proceed?
Sir.
So you need to have a graph sheet with you, a normal graph sheet. See, later part you have a Nyquist plot, Bode plot and all. So for that we will discuss according to that. So Bode plot, it requires similar graph. I hope you have seen similar graph in your analog laboratory. Correct now? So now we'll try to analyze, but whenever you try to solve this root locus, so have a protractor, a graph sheet and a scale. And no need to use any pencils in the exam because pencils are not supposed to be written. So everything should be in a pen. So just make a note what all things required now. So I will show you how to do or draw the root locus. Same way you try to do on the graph sheet. Okay. So if you have protractor graph sheet, you can start doing with the things what I'm going to start now. So write on procedure or steps required to plot root locus. So procedure or steps. Procedure or steps to plot root locus. So step number 1. I want you to write whenever I dictate the steps. Step number 1. You need to find the number of open loop poles and zeros. I'll repeat. Step number 1. Find the number of open loop poles and open loop zeros. Open loop poles and zeros, and find the number of branches. And find the number of branches. In the bracket you can write to obtain the loci. So root locus, so you need to have this number of branches, nothing but you have to find the loci. So you just make a note of all the steps. So once I clear all the steps, then we will take one problem, we will compare each steps and you will get the answer, and then we'll go with the plotting. Is it okay with step number 1, everyone? Am I clear? Step number 1, find the number of open loop poles and open loop zeros and find the number of branches, nothing but you have to find the number of loci. So I will tell what is the meaning of loci. Once you start a problem, you just make a statement. Is it okay? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Good. So go with step number 2. Step number 2. You need to find the number of asymptotes. I'll repeat. You need to find the number of asymptotes. So this is required. Why? We will discuss while solving the problem. You just make a note of the heading and the formula we will implement in the problem. So number of asymptotes. You need to calculate the number of asymptotes using a formula P minus Z. So I already told you P indicates number of poles, Z indicates number of zeros. Step number 1 you have found, right? Number of poles and number of zeros. If you subtract that 2, you are going to get the number of asymptotes. So is it okay? Step number 2 to everyone? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Good. So go with step number 3. You need to find, say, after knowing how many asymptotes you have, so then you need to check out what are the angle for that particular asymptotes. So to check that, you have to calculate angle of asymptotes. Angle of asymptotes. So to find this angle, we have formula theta is equals to 2q plus 1 whole divided by your number of asymptotes, that is P minus Z. So since I want angle, I need to multiply with 180 degree. So this is the formula you need to implement. Theta is equals to 2q plus 1 divided by P minus Z. P minus Z indicates number of asymptotes. Okay. Then you need to multiply with an angle of 180 degree. Okay. So where K is taking a values from 0, 1, 2, so on. Your Q will take the values from 0, 1, 2, so on. So this Q is directly interlinked to your number of loci. So you need to check out how many values of Q required so that we can dump here. Depending upon the problem, it will keep varying. So if few problems you may have Q is equal to 0, 1, or Q is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, so on till n number. Okay. So that we will discuss. So what values of Q you should substitute here and how many angles you are supposed to calculate, that we will discuss. Is it okay till here? Step number 3, everyone.
Yes.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go with step number 4. See, I have calculated number of asymptotes required. I have calculated the angles of asymptotes. So in order to plot that on a graph, I need to have a centroid. So if you want to find or if you want to plot the angle using your protractor, you need to mark the centroid in the graph. So that is your step number 4. So just heading as centroid of asymptotes. So you need to calculate or check out the centroid of asymptotes. So write on the formula centroid. So this will tell you from where exactly I can plot my angle. So centroid of asymptotes. See, try to understand the steps. If you know the steps, it will be easy for you to plot. I hope it's visible, right? What about this side, everyone? Is it okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Let's proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, centroid is denoted with a symbol sigma C. So sigma indicates a centroid. So the C is there, this representation. Okay. The formula is real part of open loop poles. So write in simple, real part of open loop poles minus real part of open loop zeros divided by number of asymptotes, nothing but P minus Z. So this is from your step number 2. See, interlink is there. So real part of your number of poles that you are going to get from the step number 1. How many poles you have, that summation, subtract with how many zeros you have, that divided by P minus Z. If you do, you are going to get the centroid. So P indicates what, guys? If you want, you can just make a note. I already told you, P indicates number of poles, Z indicates number of zeros. So P indicates number of poles and Z indicates number of zeros. Is this okay till here to everyone? So first 4 steps. See, few times in the exam they may ask you to list the procedure to plot a root locus also. Okay. So that time you need to write all the steps what we're writing now. So same steps is applicable while solving the problem also. Is it okay? Shall I proceed? Everyone. So step number 5. Step number 5, make a note. Calculate the breakaway and break-in points. Calculate breakaway and break-in points. Step number 5 tells you need to calculate the breakaway and break-in points. Breakaway and break-in points. Written till here. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Continue with the same step. If breakaway points are complex conjugate, you underline this word what I'm telling now. So you need to find step number 5 with respect to breakaway and break-in, right? If breakaway points are complex conjugate, then use the angle condition. Then use the angle condition to check their validity. If breakaway points are complex conjugate, then use the angle condition to check their validity. Okay now. So in simple, just remember step number 5 tells I need to find breakaway point and break-in point. See, this is nothing new. What you learned in yesterday's class. To find the roots, we have taken assumption that auxiliary equation is equal to 0, then differentiation of that. Do you remember? Same thing will come. See here in this breakaway concept, you need to know simple things what you learned in your earlier topics. Nothing new in this. Only the procedure you have to follow to plot a root locus. It's a graphical representation to analyze your stability whenever variations happens. Is it okay? With step number 5, shall I proceed?
Sir, can I repeat the statements?
Step number 5, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read on once more, I will repeat. So you need to calculate or find the breakaway and break-in points. That is what the heading. Okay. Is it done? Shall I proceed in that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in that you can just make one sentence that if breakaway points are complex conjugative, because you may get the roots in terms of your complex also, right? Imaginary valves, correct? If you find it is not applicable to all the problems, if that is what a condition I'm giving, if breakaway points are complex conjugate, nothing but imaginary, then use angle condition, to check this validity. Use angle conditions. So there is angle conditions we have to implement, that we'll discuss later. Angle conditions to check their validity. Is it okay? Is it okay, guys? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right on step number 6. Step number 6 tells you need to calculate the intersection point. Calculate the intersection point of root locus. Calculate the intersection point of root locus with imaginary axis. With imaginary axis means in a S-plane that deals respect to y-axis. Correct? Huh? So you need to calculate the intersection point. See at what point my breakaway as well as the root locus imaginary is going to meet. That is what the intersection tells you in the root locus graph. Okay. I'll repeat. Calculate the intersection point of root locus with imaginary axis. Is that okay till here? Step number 6, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the step what I'm going to write, the 7th step. So here it is finding the intersection. Okay. So step number 7, this is only comes whenever there are existence of zeros. So we will just make that as a star comment because this is not applicable every time. There is a star mark. When it is applicable, just make a note. Step number 7, if complex poles are present. I'll repeat, if complex poles. Say I told normal poles means your real number. Complex means maybe 2j, 3j, whatever it is. So whenever there is a complex poles are present, then find the angle of departure. I'll repeat, step number 7 is going to occur only if a complex poles are present. Complex poles are present, then find the angle of departure. Find the angle of departure. Similarly, if complex zeros are present, then find angle of arrival. Angle of arrival, complex zeros. Angle of departure, complex poles. Is it okay? So this 7th is optional, means if it is existing with respect to complex of poles and zeros, then only you need to worry about this step. Am I clear with this step number 7 to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So we'll move on. So after this, step number 8. So step number 8 will tell combine step 1 to step 7. Read on. Step number 8 tells combine step 1 to step 7 and draw the final sketch. You need to combine from step 1 to step 7. So the step 7 is applicable if it is complex poles and zeros. If not, it is not there. Okay. So it means you have to add from step 1 to step 6. So in general, we need to combine step 1 to step 6 and draw the final sketch. Okay. So last step, step number 9, predict the stability and performance. You need to predict the stability and performance of a given system using root locus. Predict the stability and performance of a given system using root locus. So all 9 steps written by everyone? Yes or no? Is it okay?
Yes.
So just
Yes,
recall
sir.
the things. See, whenever the root locus questions comes to your question paper, so this 9 steps. So out of which step number 7 is like optional, that depends upon the question. So you can't expect every time that will arrive. If that comes, how to solve, we will discuss. So first, let's try to analyze a simple problems, how to plot a root locus, then we can go ahead further. Okay. So if you look at this steps, you got the step number 1, you need to obtain the loci, nothing but you need to check out the number of poles and zeros present inside that. Then you need to check out how many asymptotes you have, then angle of asymptotes to check out how many angles you can expect. Then once you got that, I need to mark that angles, means I should have a point. That point is called as centroid of asymptotes. So use this formula, then check out the breakaway point and break-in point. Then step number 6, insertion with respect to your y-axis or imaginary axis of root locus. Then step number 7 is optional. So this will comes whenever complex poles, angle of departure, complex zeros, angle of arrival. Then step number 8 is a combination of step 1 to step 7 to plot a root locus, and last step will tell you its stability it is by seeing the sketch. Is it okay till here? Everyone, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So let's try to solve a simple problem first and try to analyze how to solve this root locus. Okay. Read on the question. Obtain the root locus plot. See, all these steps you need to show in a booklet. You can't write all this in your graph sheet. Okay. The last answer only should be written in the graph. Remaining all steps you write how you used to write in the exam in the booklet itself. Then the plotting of root locus is shown in the graph sheet. You just make a comment, write the page number, and you can conclude the problem. Okay. So don't write all these steps in the graph sheet only. So let's try to analyze one problem based on this. Read on. Obtain the root locus plot for the unity feedback system with transfer function. So the thing what they are given, let me write here. So they are given g of s for you guys. So g of s is equals to k divided by s into s plus 2. So this is a question. So for this they ask you to get the root locus plot. So shortcut RL, plot, root locus plot. And they given the hint, what is your h of s? Is it equal to unity? Yes or no?
No. Sir.
Correct na guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we will go with the procedure now. So let me explain you step by step. So whenever you see the question, see this question you have to compare with the generalized form. Generalized form will be like this: S into S minus A into S minus B, so on. This is a generalized form. So now look at this G of S, whatever thing is given, your numerator will tell you how many zeros you have. I'll repeat, numerators will tell you how many zeros you have, and denominator will tell you how many poles you have. Am I clear, everyone? So first thing you need to check out, that is what step number 1, right? The number of poles and number of zeros. So in this question or any question, in general, G of S indicates the number of poles and zeros for you. With respect to numerator, we can concentrate only on zeros. With respect to denominator, poles. So if you observe the things carefully, tell me number of poles and zeros now. That is step number 1, guys. So number of poles. So number of poles, nothing but your P. How much? How many poles you have? So how to check out the poles? I said, check out the denominator. So compare this with generalized formula. You can look at here. S is there. So there is no coefficient for this. So it means 0. So 0 is 1 pole. Similarly, plus 2 is there. So what I told, compare with generalized. So according to that, this is going to be minus 2. Correct or wrong? Yes or no, guys? S into S plus 2 means how many poles you can find? 2. That is P0 is equal to 0 and P1 is equal to minus 2. So count is 2. Am I clear with this first point? Everyone, is it okay with the step number 1, number of poles, how to identify? You just check out the denominator part and compare with generalized equation. See, in the same question, if they give S plus 3, then you will be having 3 poles, 0, minus 2, minus 3. Understood here? Everyone, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So once you got number of poles, same method you use to get the number of zeros also. Number of zeros. So Z indication. So how many zeros you can find, guys? What is the thing I told? Check out the numerator. Do you have any S values in the numerator? Do we have any S values in the numerator?
No, sir.
So you can conclude zeros are 0 itself. Assume that here I have given some K into S plus 2. Then you could have mentioned the zeros are 1 with a value minus 2. Understood the logic now, everyone? How to debug or how to find the number of poles and zeros. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. So ultimate goal of step number 1 is to find or to obtain the loci. So how many loci you want? So for that the formula is to check out the number of loci. It says maximum of pole comma 0. So it means what? Maximum of number of poles are 2, number of zeros are 0. So what is the number of loci now? Is it clear, guys, everyone? Am I clear or not? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So then you need to tell in the same step what are the positions of your poles. See, we just now got 2 poles are there, right? So the values of poles is at 0, 1 and minus 2, 1. So therefore the position. So let me write. Is it visible here? Position of your poles P will be at 0, minus 2. So the meaning is what? Whenever you plot a sketch, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. So how many poles you have? The poles you have, one is at 0, one is at minus 2. So how it looks now? So one is at 0, one is at minus 2. So this is what the meaning of position of poles. Is it okay? Is it okay, guys? So step number 1, any doubts, anyone?
So number of loci.
Number of loci indicates the maximum number of poles or zeros you have. See, in this, you just need to check out how many root locus. See, I need to plot a root locus sketch, right? So there you should check out how many maximum loci will be occurring. So that loci will be directly dealing with number of or the maximum number of poles or zero. For example, so you have 3 and 2. So assume that you have 3 poles and 2 zeros. So out of which is a maximum. So it means priority should be given to which, whether you have to give priority to poles or to zeros, the meaning. Understood? So in this example, 2 comma 0. So priority will be given to poles. Is it clear? It means your root locals will be on poles. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So this is your step number 1. So what is step number 2? I told you, you need to check out the number of asymptotes. So what is the formula I told you to find the number of asymptotes? Step number 2.
P minus Z.
P minus Z. Good. So step number 1 is over. So step number 2 will tell you. See why this is required. This I told you something called angle of asymptotes. In that there is a values of Q 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So how many values will we keep giving? If we keep giving, you'll get n number of angles. So we need to have some end for that. For that purpose, you need to check out the number of asymptotes. That will tell you how many Q values you are required. For example, in this, it's P minus Z. So how much is that step number 2 answer? So angle of the number of asymptotes is equals to 2 minus 0, nothing but 2. So it means you need to find 2 angle of asymptotes. That is theta 1 and theta 2. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So if you find asymptotes are 3, then you need to vary your Q from 0, 1, 2 and you have to get theta 1, theta 2, theta 3. So things are simpler. So have we got step number 2, why we are calculating number of asymptotes? This will be indirectly linking to number of angle of asymptotes. So if it is 2, you need to vary the values of Q from 0 to 1 and you'll get 2 angles, theta 1, theta 2. If it is 3, 3. If it is 4, 4, so on. Is it okay? Shall we proceed, guys? Any doubts, anyone with step 1 and step 2? If you have, you can ask. Shall I move on to step number 3 now?
Yes, sir.
Good. So what is step number 3, guys? You need to find angle of asymptotes. So what is the formula to find angle of asymptotes? Theta is equals to 2q plus 1 divided by number of asymptotes in a 180 degree. So I told just now what is the values of Q and how many angles you're supposed to find. So we found P minus Z, number of asymptotes are 2, means obviously you should find 2 angles. So for that Q will varies from 0 once and 1 time once. So substitute Q is equal to 0 in this and P minus Z, you already know answer is 2. What is theta 1, guys? So this 2 into 0, it becomes 1 by 2 into 180. Is it 90 degree? Is it 90 degree?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
angle 1, everyone got 90 degree. See, I hope you got the logic, how it is interlinked to step number 2. If you don't find the number of asymptotes, you won't come to know how many angles of asymptotes you're supposed to find. That is why I told calculate P minus Z. So now we substitute Q is equal to 0 and we got one answer. Similarly, I want one more, right? Substitute Q is equals to 1 and tell me what is theta 2. What is theta 2? After substituting Q is equals to 1. So it is going to be 2 plus 1, that is 3 divided by 2 into 180. How much?
270.
Good. 270 degree. So you have 2 answers theta 1 and theta 2. So this is all the step number 3, angle of asymptotes. Any doubts, anyone? See, whatever problems you're going to solve in root locus, it's same procedure. Only variation will happen if your step number 7 comes. Otherwise, angle of departure, angle of arrival won't be there. All steps, same thing. Only the question will be keep changing. Is it okay? Shall we proceed to step number 4?
Yes, sir.
Good. So step number 4 I kept as it is. You need to calculate the centroid. See, I have got how many asymptotes I required on the root locus, and I have calculated how many angles I get. So to plot that, there should be one point where I can mark the angle. That is what centroid I told you. That is why heading centroid of asymptotes. So tell me, the formula is there. What is a real part of this? How to take real part of this? So whatever the values of poles are there, that is 0 and -1, you need to add it. So that's why that means, so real part. So heading says real part. Even though you get imaginary terms in the answer, you have to consider only real part. So here there is no picture of imaginary part. Everything is real only. So real part of number of poles. So you should summation. What are the values here? See here, 0 and -2. So 0, -2. That is respect to my this one. So minus. So do you have any real part of zeros? Nothing is there, right? So it is 0. Whole divided by number of poles minus number of zeros. You already got as 2. So what is centroid now? What is centroid?
Minus
-1. Good. So you got the centroid as -1. I hope you're understanding, right, everyone? Is it okay till here? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So now what is step number 5, guys? You need to find what? So let me erase here itself. What is step number 5? You need to find breakaway points. So how to find the breakaway points? See, to find the breakaway points, you have to follow your earlier concept, that is your characteristic equation method. So we have taken some auxiliary equation concept, right? Same procedure comes. Breakaway point, so go with the characteristic equation 1 plus g of s into h of s. This is equal to 0. Okay. So h of s, you know, it is given 1 and they are given g of s in the question. So it becomes 1 plus k divided by s into s plus 2 is equal to 0. Right? So from this, if you take LCM, so what is the equation, guys? Is it s square plus 2s plus k? Is it what the simplified expression? Everyone, is it okay till here?
Yes, sir.
So from this, see, the meaning is simple. I need to find the break away. So from your centroid, there is some away point also exists on the root locus. How much is that we are calculating? That is what the meaning of break away, or similarly break in. So currently there is no complex conjugate here, so you can find only breakaway points. So from the centroid, what we have? We got -1, right? From there away, there should be some point where I can mark it as a breakaway point from the centroid. That is how much you are supposed to calculate. So here, if we go with respect to a normal condition, how we learned in the last classes, we got this expression. From this, you are supposed to find S. So to find S, you have a barrier called K. So I need to overcome this K. Correct now? So to overcome this K, what we can do is we can keep this K as it is. We'll push remaining terms towards RHS. We differentiate that K and equate to 0. Then I am going to get the values of S. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes.
So how to find S I told? So simplify this. So K is equals to minus S square minus 2S. Okay. So differentiate this. So differentiate this and equate your dk by ds is equal to 0. Okay, let's first differentiate this. So what is dk by ds answer? What is differentiation of minus s square?
Minus 2s.
So minus is there, so it's minus 2s. Is it minus 2? Differentiation of s
Yes,
is
sir.
1. Am I clear? So from this, check out by equating dk by ds is equal to 0 and check out what is the values of s you are going to get. How much? Answer for s? What is s value here?
Minus 1.
Minus 1. So after equating dk by ds to 0, if you compare this with your RHS, I am going to get, okay, let me write here, dk by d is equal to 0 is equal to minus 2s minus 2. So from this you got a breakaway point also minus 1. So the meaning is what? For this particular problem, we got both centroid and breakaway point at the same point. Agree? Centroid was also at minus 1, breakaway point also at minus 1. Means there is no difference in the root locus. Both are existing on the same point. Am I clear till here to everyone? Is it okay, guys? Till here? Any doubts, anyone? The meaning of break away from centroid towards your root locus, there may be any breakaway or break-in point. So since we found this breakaway point is same as centroid, so while plotting you need to mark both are at the same junction. That's all. That is what the meaning. Is it okay? Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Good. So go with step number 6 now. So what is step number 6 tells? You need to find intersection to imaginary axis. So to find the intersection to imaginary axis, same concept, repeat your characteristic equation. Repeat your characteristic equation, and after simplification, don't waste your time again by substituting and calculating that. You already got the answer, right? What is that simplified expression? This was s square plus 2s plus k. So to find the angle of, or sorry, to find the intersection on the imaginary axis, so I need to connect my breakaway point to the intersection point. That is what step number 6 tells. So to find that, you have to go with your formula and find like how we did earlier, your Routh array concept. So construct a Routh array. So s square, s power 1, s naught. So the values are 1, 2 and k. 1, 2 and k. So what is this answer now? So it's 2k minus 0 by 2, nothing but k only. Okay. So I hope yesterday's class we learned something called k marginal. Do you remember? The marginal or sustained oscillation of k. Do you remember or not?
Yes, sir.
So from this we can equate, right? So k is greater than 0. It means what? There is no marginal oscillation obtained in this particular problem. So you can comment no k margin present. Understood here? Step number 6. So the meaning is what? So I can't join my breakaway point to any intersection on y-axis. Why? Because there is no values itself. If you got any value, we could have done that. See, this is a simple problem what I have chosen here to make you to understand the thing step by step. If you say till here it's okay, I think we have covered all the steps. Step number 7 is not applicable. Why? Poles and zeros are not having any complex terms. So it means step number 6 over. 7 will be combination of all to draw a plot. Am I clear? Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Good. So now let me teach you how to plot a sketch. So if anybody have doubts till here, you can ask. The same procedure repeats for all the problem, only the variations with respect to your answers. That's it. Apart from that, you can expect the same thing here. Okay, so let me change the color and plot. So we are going to plot a root locus on the S plane. So y-axis, name it properly, j omega, x-axis sigma. See this plot, what I'm plotting, you're supposed to do this in a graph sheet. Is it clear? Shall we proceed? So we'll go step by step now. So what is step number 1? What is step number 1? The number of poles and zeros you found. How many poles you got? How many poles you got?
2.
2. Good. So let's mark the scale first. So we know that the number of poles are 2. So 1 is at position. That's why I told position of poles. 1 is at 0, exactly on 0. So this is what pole number 1. Similarly, position of one more pole is at -2.
Minus.
Is it okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? So you got
Yes,
step
sir.
number 1. Fine. So number of asymptotes you found 2. So from that you calculated the angle. So what I told, whenever you want to find the angle and to plot on the things, you need to know where exactly root locus is there first of all. See, we will trace the root locus. Root locus exists between 0 to -2 only. Root locus exists between 0 to -2 only. So now listen carefully. I will tell you how to trace the root locus now. So in this particular problem or sketch, you won't face any difficulties. So assume that you add one more root locus at 5. Sorry, with respect to your poles I'm talking. So assume that in the question you add one more s minus 5. Okay. So you got one more pole here. Then how to know where exactly my root locus exists? So always remember one thing, root locus always exists towards the left hand side and it is symmetrical above the real part. I'll repeat, root locus always lies on LHS, left hand side of your S-plane, and it is symmetrical above the x-axis. Symmetrical means what? Whatever things you are going to get above, same thing you are going to get below also. That is the meaning of symmetrical. Am I clear with this point what I told?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So you better just make a note, again you will get forget. So just make a note how to trace this line of root locus. Let me tell you clearly. Make a note, line of root locus always emerges from poles towards zeros. I'll repeat, line of root locus always emerges, means it starts generating its position from poles towards zeros. So in this problem there is no zero, that's why we have interlinked two poles itself. In between, assume that there was one zero, then from this pole to this zero I should mark. That is the meaning. Okay. Since here nothing is there, we have treated it itself as one line of root locus which joins two poles. So as the problem keep increasing, you will come to know how to plot this. But just have things what I'm telling now. Line of root locus always emerges from poles towards zeros and from one pole only one line can emerge. So from one pole only one line can emerge. Written till here? Written till here. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So second point, always root locus occurs towards your left half of the S-plane. Always root locus occurs towards the left half of the S-plane and root locus lines are symmetrical to each other. Or you can tell the sentence as root locus are symmetrical to its real axis. Symmetrical means whatever things you have at the top, same thing will come at the bottom. Is it okay? Have you made a note what I told? Everyone? Is it okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now listen here. I was discussing with respect to this root locus line how to plot. In this particular problem, there is no zero. So it starts from poles. It find any zeros are there? No. So it ends at this pole itself. That is the end. If any zero was here, it was stopped there itself. That is the first thing. Second thing, since there are only two poles on this, you didn't find any difficulties. So assume that you add one more pole like this, what I marked here. Then you are not supposed to trace from this to this straight away. So this is going to be wrong. So why? I will discuss now. You got the problem what I told? Everyone?
Yes,
Have you
sir.
got the problem? So whenever you have three poles like this, so you are not supposed to join the things like this. Why? Because there is a condition that the existence of your root locus line is applicable only for odd numbers. So I'll repeat, odd numbers means what? Look at here. If you are in this position, assume that you are standing here. You are standing here. So from this view, how many points you can see? How many points you can see? In this view, can you see two poles?
Yes, sir.
Yes or
Yes,
no,
sir.
yeah? Am I clear what I told? From this position, if you stand here, from this side, if you view to that point, how many poles you can view? Is it two?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
that
sir.
indicates it's a even number, correct? So logic is simple. You just understand in this way. If you mark the root locus line from this to this position, I told you from one pole only one root locus line can emerge. So if we treat this connection here to here, it is treated as 1. Is it an odd number? Is it an odd number?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I trace from -2 to -5 straight away, then it is going to be what? Even number. Agree?
Yes, sir.
So that is why we are not going to consider this root locus line here. Then where to consider? After this 5, if it goes towards infinity, is it odd again? Is it odd again? Yes or no,
Yes,
yeah?
sir.
That is why we are considering this as a root locus and this point as a root locus, not the thing which is having even root locus. I hope I made things clear where to trace the root locus line in explain. Everyone, is it okay till here? Is it okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Good. So let's move on. So for this particular problem, this concept won't be applicable. So it is clear that for this particular problem, it is only this much. So because later stage you may face such kind of things. That's why I told now only how to trace a root locus. So this yellow color tracing indicates it's a root locus line. So this points what I marked here, this is your number of poles. So done till here. Now I need to mark the angle. So let's try to finish up this problem. Angle. So to find the angle, what I told, we have found a number of asymptotes and we got two angles. One is 90 degree, one is 270 degree. How to plot that? I told you need to have some point that is called centroid. So where exactly your centroid is now?
-1.
-1. See here? So you can mark the centroid here. You can mark the things like this and you can write this is nothing but sigma c. Sigma c. So this is a position where I need to plot my what? Angles. Is it clear? So now tell me what is the angle, guys? One is 90 degree, correct now? So from this, if you use protractor, if this is your base point, if you use protractor, is it like this? Your 90 degree is like this? Yes or no? Correct, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
similarly, you have one more angle called 270. So will it comes below this? Will it comes below this? -270 degree. use protractor and check out if it is right or wrong. That's why I told you need to have protractor here. Is it how it looks? Yes, everyone? So one you got as 90 degree, one you got as 270. Is it correct what I wrote? Is
Yes,
it okay,
sir.
guys? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So once you got the angles, it is done like this. Then comes what? Breakaway point. See, in this problem, we found breakaway point was exactly like centroid. So it means you can mark one more point and you can tell breakaway point is also on the same. So breakaway point is equals to -1. Breakaway point is equals to -1. Breakaway means from this point, how it is moving away. So from here to here and from here to here. So if you would have got some other point, I could have clicked, for example, assume that you got breakaway point is something 0.5, minus 0.5. Then I can plot minus 0.5 here. Understood the logic? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Good. So now the last thing is intersection. So just now we proved intersection on imaginary axis nothing. So it means 0 only. So step number 6 we can't plot here because imaginary axis means from breakaway I need to do connections on the y-axis. Since there is no k margin, we proved that there is no existence of intersection between this y-axis to breakaway point. Hence we can conclude this itself is your plot of root locus. Am I clear to everyone how to plot? Yes or
sir.
no? So you got one rough idea now. So now you remember the steps what we did. So again I think afternoon class 2:30 we have tutorial class. So we'll try to continue with the same root locus. So till today's afternoon class is the syllabus for your second internals. Am I clear? Everyone, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So you just make a note of any doubts if you have.